give a round of applause for Mark Kerr.
Hello, and thank you to everyone for allowing me to be here today. I know that you've been questioning whether I am the fighter that you thought that I was. And one of my biggest regrets in life is the answer to that question. I wasn't.
Mark Kerr, thank you for stopping by the CBC Sports Studios.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start. What are you doing here in Toronto?
We're here to premiere the Smashing Machine at TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival.
And we were just quickly chatting, who knew movie premieres were a part of your future when you were back to your early days of wrestling? I'm sure this is all a whirlwind. Before we dive deeper into the film side, because I'm definitely curious about that, I do want to talk about the sports side and what initially, you grew up in Toledo. What got you into wrestling in the first place?
So the World Cups of wrestling were held in Toledo for a long time. It was the home city for the World Cup. So my mom would volunteer to work at the World Cups, and that kind of drew her into that wrestling. And my older brother, he wrestled, and then it was just a succession of in Ohio, football or wrestling, the predominant sports. And so wrestling just became this is one of the options, and it's one of the options I excelled at.
And I'm sure enjoyed it. I'm sure when you're younger too, a lot of good ways to meet people, make friends, community, all that stuff. For people less familiar with the combat sports in general, what motivated and what goes into a transition from, the NCAA, the freestyle wrestling to MMA fighting?
There's more options available to athletes now, just because of NIL deals and stuff like that. But back then, you have this physicality and you have all this training. And, for me, how do I capitalize on that? How do I monetize it, right? And not understanding, there's not a bunch of venues that you could, avenues that you could travel down, and it was one of the options available. So I said, okay, let me just kind of explore this to see where it can go. And once I got in it, it just started pulling me forward.
And I know you speak about the changes on the NCAA side with NIL. I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
I retired very young, and one of the reasons is that there wasn't really an option for me to go professional and make a living out of it. Right now specifically, opportunity is endless, I feel like, in this space, and it's now widely considered MMA as one of the top combat sports globally. Could you have imagined that, in the 90s?
You know what? I was trying to advance the sport in one way. I was trying to advance the sport and being a professional. So when I got involved in it, the simple examples I give, you can look at a press conference and it'd be sweatsuit, and I'm in a $1,000 Calvin Klein, suit, right? Because I wanted going, you guys are showing up at the gym, I was showing up at the office, right? And so it was this conscious thought of carrying myself like a professional, being professional. That meant I had to train like a professional. I had to show up like a professional, all these different aspects. And it was like my mission, at the beginning of it was to have that transition in thought.
Yeah, I think it's such an important, objective to have, because I think if not enough people, I always say that about athletes now, and being a member of the media as well, some people shy away from, I don't want to have to do that or that. And it's if you want to be treated like a professional in your field of play, it is important to show up, like you said, looking professional, acting professional, being well-rounded, and making strides for a sport that obviously meant a lot to you. Let's kind of pivot to the movie a little, because to me this is so fascinating. You've learned, I'm sure, a lot about the film industry. When you found out you had Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing your character, describe what that felt like.
Disbelief at first. It was come on. Disbelief in a couple ways, because I knew how intense the documentary was. And then to think of DJ playing me was okay, he's never done anything like this before. The complexity of what was going on at the time is going to require a lot, right? And so it was at first it was okay, great, and not understanding okay, great. And then a whole sequence of things happened, and it got delayed for 4 years. And then when I spoke with him again in 2023, it was this just beautiful conversation of like, I could tell in his heart that he's ready to take this on.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, obviously the talent of the actor himself, but then also knowing how much he's going to have to put in to get to know you, to become you in that sense. I was watching the trailers. I haven't been lucky enough to watch it yet, which I'm so excited to, but watching the trailers, he looks so much like you.
Oh my
and immediately, did you help with the workout routine?
My
Were
God.
you in the gym with him?
He's so Benny, the director, right, is the first director ever to tell DJ, you need to get bigger.
That's
right.
crazy.
Like he goes, you're not big enough. You're not to what my physique was back then. He goes, hit the gym. So he secluded himself in Vancouver, like this training camp. And he just was like in this routine and just doing, and it's just one where to get to that mindset, you have to be able to have that ability to go, okay, this is what I would have done, or this is what Mark would have done. You know, and it's true, like you go into a training camp, you're secluded, you're away, you're concentrating on one thing, you know, and that's what he did, which is just, I mean, it's all surreal at the end of the
Well, and there must have been such a vulnerability on your end, because not only are you reliving this story, which in some points of your life was traumatic, and other points you're reliving some happy moments, but you're also having to kind of go through it all over again as you're getting him into character. So tell me about that, like reopening yourself up to that point in your life.
You know, part of it was the trust. Like when I first talked to Benny, we had this conversation. I joke with Benny. I go, it felt like you had scripted, like, "Hi, my name's Benny Safdie," and like a minute into it, he just goes, "All right, here's what's going on with me," and him and I have this heart-to-heart conversation. And it was this beautiful thing of trust, of complete trust. And that's through the whole process is just trusting that they're gonna, because they had care, they had respect, they had reverence, they had just this attention to all these different things that I knew it was like the right people making this. But trust is the biggest factor that allowed me to go, okay, I'm gonna relive some of this for you so you can absorb it, get it, understand it, and then be able to make it, you know.
And you two must have grown incredibly close.
Yeah.
I did watch the kind of celebration that he was able to give you when you were inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome.
Talk to me about how special that was to have him there for you in that moment.
Oh, it was incredible. I mean, it just won because I get emotional, but it was incredible because it's full circle, right?
Take your time.
Yeah, thank you. But to have my family there, my son there, my brother, my other brother, you know, my sister-in-laws, and you know, it was a celebration of you know, stuff that you know was important. You know, it was important for me. And it was important for DJ, you know, so it was incredible.
And to know, I mean, your family, one thing, but to know what started as an actor that was probably, you know, a acquaintance at the time, to now know the impact that you've made on him must be a really, really surreal feeling. And I can only imagine too, like when you're in the midst of your career, you don't have any of this perspective. And now you're able to look back 30 plus years later and be around your loved ones and to see it at this scale. Well, congratulations, by the way, to be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. That's unbelievable. And, you know, could you have ever thought in the 90s that this was coming?
No. I mean, part of it is, you know, like a lot of us would hope that it would be able to grow in a direction that it's growing in, but never expecting it to grow and have the dominance and worldwide, because it's not, I mean, it's worldwide. You know, the whole entire fan base is just incredible. You know, it's a celebration of, like, you know, I said, you know, part of what I was after too was shattering the myth, right? Shattering the myth that if you were 10th degree black belt, or if you're 6'7", 300 pounds, you're the toughest guy. And it's like, no, Be careful of the guy with the cauliflower ear that's 5'5", right? Standing in the corner. Just leave him alone, right? Because it shattered this myth we all grew up with, right? And that was part of the process too of, like, No, it's redefining. It's redefining a lot of those myths.
And in the induction speech, I listened to part of it where DJ had said a lot about, the process of winning and wanting to win, and how almost debilitating that can be. And sometimes it's more about the loss. I feel like your story is relatable to a lot of people in different ways, whatever, a chapter of their life or a larger piece. What are you hoping people take away from the film?
Resilience, because it's taken me a minute to get to here, to this space. And it's taken a lot of self-discovery, a lot of things that in my life that I didn't want to face, that, the ability to literally come to terms with like, okay, this is the obstacle, addiction, right? Like, this is my obstacle. There's no getting around it. I'm not going to be the one person on the planet that defies, it's a disease. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? And so, it's like just coming to terms with that and understanding what I had to do to put myself in a position where it's like, okay, I don't have to wrestle with that every day. I know I'm in recovery. I know that's part of my story, and it's part of what allows me to go, hey, if you're having problems too, you can step up and you can figure out a solution for them. It's hope. It's a lot of things like that. And it's also that I tell people, I go, part of my secret power is the ability to connect with another human being. And that has a certain level of self-awareness, but emotional honesty. Like, I don't have to carry around BS. It's like, I'm good.
Yeah. I've only met you for a few minutes, but I can already sense that.
Thank you.
I know the team that created this film, you of course got close with them over time, but I wondered, watching it, do you feel like it accurately depicted your story?
Yeah. And part from the beginning, I knew that how detailed they were getting about stuff. I sent them like 8 boxes of stuff I had of everything, of watches, rings, jewelry, pictures. They recreated a whole entire world that existed 25 years ago. When I first went up to production in Vancouver, like pre-production, where they're producing all the stuff, Dave Copeland, the producer, just was walking behind me and assessing like my vibe of like he would just go up, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Because I was seeing stuff that was like you said, it just emotionally grabs me.
I'm sure.
I'm like, you'd walk in a room and there would be just pictures of me on the wall, all the way across the wall. It was incredible the amount of detail they paid to everything.
I can't even imagine. What a surreal, not many people get to do this, what all you're doing.
No,
the athlete side of you is one thing, but I'm sure the film side and rehashing everything has been so overwhelming, but also I'm sure rewarding.
It's almost therapeutic.
Yeah.
It really is, because it's like I'm standing on the other side and I'm almost looking at myself in the third person.
Yeah.
Right? And I get to be removed emotionally from that.
Yeah.
I still can get attached to it because emotions are deep in me, right?
Yeah.
But it's just one where, it's an experience like I call it, it's not a feeling, it's a frequency. Like, it's beyond the idea. You get done competing in an event and you win it, and sometimes it's almost vibrational, the feeling of because it's a sense of accomplishment and joy and, a bunch of emotions mixed together that you really can't, I can't go, it's that. So I go, it's just a frequency.
You can't put your finger quite on it,
No.
but you're there.
Yeah.
You live in it.
Yeah.
Paint a picture for us of where and when you first got to watch the film all wrapped up.
Oh, it was end of January this year. And the film was about 85% complete. And Benny really wanted to get my input. Really wanted to get an idea if he's onto the right thing. So it was in Beverly Hills, small little, 50-seat movie theater. It was Benny, me, my brother, Michael. And we sit down, we watch it. I was crying throughout the whole thing, basically. And the lights come up. Benny's next to me and he's crying because he sees how emotionally impacted I am. And he stands up, we give each other a big hug. My brother's behind us and pull him in. And then I look out of the corner of my eye and there's Dwayne and Emily standing in the movie theater. And they had snuck in for like the last 5 minutes, and we sit down and have this just beautiful conversation for, you know, like an hour sitting there. And just, you know, it was incredible. It was really incredible because they did such a good job of all these little aspects of it to be able to tell the story. And I couldn't believe where DJ went. And, you know, like Benny said, it's with the prosthetics. It looks like me back then, right? So, but you could still see DJ in that. You could still see him, but it wasn't him.
Yeah. And it's you. So you're
It's
watching
me.
that and you're like, I know him, I know me, but
Somehow it's all.
And he's acting, but it's me. I was there.
Oh my God.
I lived it.
Unbelievable.
What an overwhelming, like, emotional journey. And what a skill set, like, as a film, like you said, the people that created this, like, you're not just showing up to work every day. You're putting together art and emotion. And like you would, I'm sure, as a dad, you're, like, watching your son through the eyes of what he's doing. And I'm sure he was watching you through the eyes of the filmmaker.
Amazing. Like, mind-boggling how they just put this whole thing into motion and watching it just kind of just pick up steam. It's unbelievable what it takes to make a film.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Okay, well, before I let you go, I want just one last reflective. Is there any advice you would give to a young MMA fighter now?
You know, like now it's just a different world, right? That they're coming into. And, you know, I always say to everybody, it's like, if that's your passion, go pursue it. Because a lot of what happens is life gets in the way, right? And so when life gets in the way, if you have that passion 5 years down the road, that window, it's like when you have the desire and passion to dedicate yourself to that, go. Life will help you figure out how to make it happen. But if you don't take that chance, it never will.
And I feel like that's relatable advice to whatever path that is.
Yeah.
Whatever out there makes you excited, gives you that
Pursue it.
that extra go pursue it. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm so grateful for your time, Mark. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Enjoy Toronto. Congrats
you.
on everything with the film. Soak it all in with this team that obviously means so
No,
much to
they
you.
do.
Congrats as well on the Hall of Fame induction. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Thank you.
But thanks for stopping by CBC
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks
good
for
one.
having me. Thanks.